Mission to the Little is the second segment of the 11th episode of the second season of the Rugrats reboot, and I don't know how I feel about this episode. I think generally I don't like it. First of all, it's just not visually very engaging, it's very dimly lit, there are not many bright colours, and when they go into the imaginative play scenes, I found those, apart from Phil, to be really dull. We do have something different with Betty here, and I'll talk about that in a moment, and again, I don't know how I feel about it. It starts off with Phil and Lil being very cute in their stroller, and Betty is pushing them, and there's a woman called Trish. I love how the babies call her the Trish. I find that pretty sweet. And Phil kicks off a sock, and it's just really sweet. And then they get to Tommy's house. Everybody's in the backyard making popcorn. They're going to be watching a film, and the babies worry that Dill has been left inside on his own, which, to be fair, he has. So they go on this mission to try and find him. And while they're on this mission, Dill is in his cot, in his crib, and Phil talks to him, and Dill kind of provides an almost therapeutic element for Phil. As Phil starts to talk to Dill, he doesn't appear as Dill in the imagination sequence. I won't say what he appears as, but the design of the character was pretty good. And Phil starts to talk to him about how he's not happy with the situation, and he's not happy with Trish. And again, I'll come back to Trish. But as he's talking to this creature, whatever Dill is representing, he begins to realise that actually maybe it's not so bad. And it's like a little therapy session for Phil, and it's, I guess, thought-provoking for anybody who's in a similar situation. So I think it had an important message, or it tried to be important, but it's just so dull and so boring apart from Phil. I think everything Phil did in this episode was so cute, but everything around it was just really dull and not very visually engaging, so I didn't really care for it. And then we come to Trish as a character. And I don't know how I feel. Trish is Betty's new girlfriend. I will admit I feel terrible for not noticing the absence of Howard in the special. It just didn't occur to me. And Trish being Betty's girlfriend is good on the one hand because we're showing different relationships, and that's always a good thing. But at the same time, we're reinforcing the stereotype that more masculine women, as Betty is, are always lesbians, which is not the case. And I really actually admired the fact, this is one of the things I loved about Betty's character in the original series, is that she was quite stereotypically butch and masculine, but she wasn't gay. They weren't reinforcing that stereotype. So I'm kind of unsure whether I like the fact that she's in a relationship with another woman, because, as I said, on the one hand, it's showing different kind of relationships, and that's always a good thing. But at the same time, it is reinforcing that stereotype, and that's never a good thing. So I genuinely don't know. I'm kind of contradicting myself by saying it's a good thing, and it isn't. So I guess I'll see how I feel as we go forward with this relationship. I'm assuming it's a relationship we see time and time again. I'm not sure. Maybe we never meet Trish again. I'll find out in due course. But I'm very much undecided with how I feel about that. But as a whole, anyway, the episode's not very good. Mission to the Little is a bit of a boring narrative, not that interesting. It was definitely just a vehicle for introducing Trish, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. So, all things considered, Phil aside, Mission to the Little is just not a good episode.